Hello, everybody. So we are here for the recording of our sprint retrospective for the sprint 3. So our goal in the sprint was to finish key backend carryover items, stabilize the backend with integration testing, and start front-end foundation with the implementation of the login page, sign up page, and the financial dashboard UI. And for this retrospective, we'll be answering three questions, which are what went well. The second question is what challenges did we face? And the third was how will we improve the next sprint? So what I'll start with myself. So regarding what went well in sprint 3 is so our team successfully set up we as a team successfully set up the initial technical foundation, including the backend and the front end environment and the respective project structure so that it's easier for adding additional components in both the backend and the front end. So with respect to the backend, I implemented the financial dashboard data retrieval API and supporting serializers. And with respect to the front end, I implemented the uh, base components in the financial dashboard UI. And I tried to match with agreed upon the Figma design for the financial dashboard UI. Uh, like this includes including navigational bar, hero section, and the the cards for progress and basic metrics of how the user progress with their learning. And yeah, I also try to refine the styling in the app.css to match the Figma design. And yes, so we finalized the initial design direction, which helped us as a team to start implementation work with a clear path. And regarding challenges faced in this sprint, so my biggest challenge was managing time, whereas getting the dashboard UI layout to align closely with the Figma design took a lot of iteration. And the other challenge was so the breaking down of user stories into tasks of the right size, because some tasks were initially too broad, where we got to um, divide those tasks into subtasks. I mean, the another different tasks. Uh, yeah. So that was the one problem that I faced. Going on to what can be improved is the same, where for the next sprint we can try creating appropriate size tasks which are more clearly defined and so that they'll be comparably they might be easier to implement. And so we'll move on to So Satvik, can you share with us what went well in your sprint 3?
Hi team. What went well is we made a strong progress on backend stability. I created backend integration testing plan and implemented multiple phases of testing, integration testing, including core flows like authentication lifecycle, profile lifecycle, budget calculator, and all strategies in budget calculator and budget profile snapshot, checklist, and token refresh cycle. And also in the test plan, we divided into four layers, and each layer appropriate to the concerning flows. And this gives us confidence that backend is stable before we dive deeper into front-end integration.
Okay, did you face any challenges?
My main challenges were time and test alignment. Some tests initially failed due to mismatches between expected and actual API response structures. Like for example, some endpoints returned results instead of data or returned objects at root level. Also, one test expected username in the profile serializer, but it wasn't included. So I updated the assertions to check correct defaults like currency code instead. I resolved this by debugging through Jenkins log and adjusted tests to match the actual response format.
Okay. Do you propose any implementations for the next sprint?
For the next sprint, the improvements which I will follow will be like standardizing API responses wrappers so the UI and tests don't break due to inconsistent structures. That is one. And next one is like completing remaining testing phases 7 and 8, and also layer 2.1, uh, like cross flow, end to end scenarios, and edge cases. And continuing dashboard integration work. My task 76 after stabilizing the other contracts. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your retrospective.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to Varun. Varun, can you share with us what went well in your sprint three?
For me, what went well is that I completed the trade-off API that returns weekly investment values from a given start date using the database inputs that we have already taken from the user. And I also wrote the unit test cases to validate the logic. In the front-end tasks, I have set up the React project foundations and implemented front-end pages like sign up, login, and profile pages, integrating them with the backend APIs. And I also resolved a cost issue that we faced during the integration of front end with the backend. Yeah,
Okay. Did you face any challenges in the sprint?
yeah. The main challenge were the like to learn the React that I was new with, and also the troubleshooting issues caused by the course. I also had to clarify the trade-off flow with the team, and additionally, some tests failed due to URL path handling issues, which was resolved later using the reverse keyboard.
Okay. Yeah. And do you propose any improvements for the next sprint?
For the next sprint, I'll improve by clarifying workflow earlier with the team and by contacting the sponsor and documenting assumptions for the all the calculations. And also, I'll continue building the front-end integration using reusable components and stable API contracts.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your retrospective. Um, so we'll move on with Pranav. Pranav, can you share with us what went well in the sprint three?
So, hi team. This sprint went well in terms of improving the reliability of the backend. I was able to implement integration tests for Flow 6, which is tracker metrics, and Flow 7, which is tools module, and also added validation boundary tests, recommendation security tests, and JWT authentication tests. These tests help verify the APIs behave correctly under different scenarios when the protected endpoints enforce proper authentication. Running the full test suite and resolving issues also helped confirm that the backend features are working as expected.
Okay. Did you face any challenges in sprint?
I would say one of the main challenges was debugging failing tests and understanding why some API responses did not match the expected results. In few cases, the issue was related to incorrect HTTP methods, assumptions about how the endpoints was implemented. Some integration tests also required creating multiple related database objects, which made setup slightly more complex and took some extra time to debug.
Okay. Do you propose any implementations for the next sprint?
I would say going forward, having clear documentation for API endpoints and expected response structures would make writing and debugging tests easier. It will also help to plan integration tests earlier during development so that the potential issues are identified sooner. Continuing to expand automatic tests will help maintain stability as more features are added to the system.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your retrospective. We'll move on with Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi, can you share with us what went well for you in this sprint three?
Hi team. So what went well in this sprint was I implemented the recommendation system API with rule-based generation, and I also added tests for recommendation workflows. I also contributed to finalizing and documenting the dashboard UI design in Figma, creating screenshots and references so developers can follow consistent UI implementation. Uh, I also worked in backend integration testing, especially for dashboard analytics and recommendation generation workflows.
Okay. Did you face any challenges in the sprint?
My main challenges were understanding the full flow of financial analytics across multiple backend services and ensuring schema and relationships are correct across the branches. Also, another challenge was that some UI tasks depended on the budgeting tool. Budgeting tool Figma. So implementation couldn't start until the design dependencies were finalized.
Okay. Do you propose any implementations for the next sprint?
Yeah, so for the next sprint, we should finalize the budgeting tool Figma early, so UI tasks can begin right away. Also, we can keep schema merges smoother by pulling updates frequently and keeping migrations in sync. Finally, we can continue on the incremental and testable PRs, which will reduce the integration risk. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for sharing your retrospective. So we'll move on with Mokshit. Mokshit, can you share what went well with your sprint 3?
Hi, Tim. So for this sprint, I guess with the backend team properly integrating the APIs, integrating the front end with the backend felt seamless, and I had more time concentrating on the UI flow and authentication and protected routes. And also, as we had several meetings in creating the clear design plan before jumping into front end, helped me a lot to develop the user profile page that matches the expectations.
Okay. Did you face any challenges in the sprint?
Yeah, the major challenge I faced in this sprint was managing the AWS resources because of the Jenkins being filled with all the custom networks, Postgres, SQL database volumes, and redundant image cache layers. The server, with the builds, the server kept on consuming a lot of data. At some point, all the Jenkins builds were failing. I assured that this would not happen again by integrating clear cleanup stages in uh, the final stages of the Jenkins files. And additional to this, I also created a new job in Jenkins called System Maintenance Cleanup, which would conduct a weekly maintenance to clear up this uncleared data.
Do you propose any improvements for the next sprint?
For the next sprint, I would I would be further improving the Jenkins to handle our resources better and also make the UI more user friendly with better design choices.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your retrospective. So yeah, thanks everybody for sharing your retrospective. And based on our discussion, so we could confidently say that what went well was we completed implementing several backend APIs such as the dashboard, trade-offs, and recommendation services. And we also expanded the backend integration testing and began building the front-end foundation along with the login sign up and financial dashboard UI. And regarding challenges, so uh, we talked about some tasks taking longer than expected time to get their implementation done, especially integration testing and especially integration testing. And we also face a few API response inconsistencies across endpoints, and and also the tasks were not few tasks were not appropriately sized. In order to I mean, come in order to be ahead of these challenges, in order to get rid of this, so we got to improve for the next sprint, which according to everybody's suggestions, we plan to standardize the API response formats, continue cross flow end-to-end testing, finalize the budgeting tool Figma earlier, and use appropriate size tasks so that the implementation and the tracking can be performed easier, preferably. Yeah. So that concludes our sprint 3 retrospective. Thank you.
Thank you.